Hello, hello, welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy XI. So we'll be continuing on with Seekers of Adelin, and maybe we'll play with real people if we hit another game day wait, and assuming the real people are on. See, like, I don't have a problem making friends or playing with people, it's just my schedule versus their schedule versus what we want to do. It's kind of like they don't align, right? So one of us has to, like, basically be like, okay, I'll do whatever. And that's not too hard either. Like, I don't mind, like, helping people out with what they need over what I need. But at the same time, you know, we can't really progress the story and get it over with if we can't, you know, do it. So. Ah, the princess is here to see us, huh? Oh, you had a hunch, huh? Nope, sure don't. Sure don't remember saving your soul. But, you know, whatever. Like yesterday, because it was. The Ancient King's Travelogue? The Summit of Mount Khmer. Yeah, that seemed pretty obvious to me. King August visited the mountain, which is probably as much proof as we're going to get. Serpent of the Sky roosting there, huh? Okay, so I'm not reading your weird half English, half German, or Irish, or whatever the fuck language that's supposed to be. Nonsense again. Okay, so go find the dragon, and try to resist her thighs. Enough twittering like a schoolgirl, though. Oh, if only it... Well, actually, I guess Twitter had been around by the time this expansion was wrapping up at this point, because we're in the second to last chapter, I believe. I think that was like 2014, 2015, so Twitter had been around for like 5 years-ish. No, I never once thought about stopping Arciela. Why? Because despite her claims to being scared, I'm confident that she's as tough as any dragon. Besides, she's ventured deep into the jungle countless times already, no? Look, I'm sparing this around. I might have some juicy tidbits for you to chew on. You know how you said you had no idea whether or not Arciela was carried off by some beast? Well, I might have overheard the answer. Word has it that she was indeed dragged away in the bloodstained maw of some otherworldly abomination while resting outside the city gates. Does that get your knees a knocking or what? You can be sure that Arciela had the worst of it, but even the Order of Weatherspoon led search party traveled a rocky road straight off the cliff of humiliation. They not only failed to find any clues as to her whereabouts by themselves, but were ambushed by hordes of creatures, the likes of which were heretofore undocumented. Some members even returned with grave wounds, supposedly inflicted by a tiger of monumental stature. Luckily, some capable pioneers stumbled upon them and were able to use their superior tracking skills to lead the exorcist to our princess. Close call for certain. What of Arciela, I hear you thinking? The powers that be within the 12 orders forcefully persuade the Order of Adelin to forbid her from entering the jungle on account of the dangers present there. I understand their cause for concern, seeing as how Arciela is to be the next in line to lead the nation, should her brother's health continue to fail. What do you think happened? She's not just one to lie there after falling off her horse. She got back up and registered herself as a pioneer, that's what. Oh snap. I believe her exact words were, "Our sovereign nation is no monarchy, nor is anyone from our order guaranteed a position of leadership. As long as my brother remains the chancellor, I am just another citizen of this fine city. Furthermore, as any citizen may apply to become a pioneer, I choose to exercise that right. I assume none of you take issue with the legislation you first enacted, do you?" I just about spit the frontier soda I was drinking all over the lake when I heard about it. I think that Arciela already wants to head back into the jungle despite almost being devoured. Or is it exactly because of that experience that she decided to get official permission this time? Although I guess the Meisters and Ministers would rather have their traipsing about the forest under the auspices of the Pioneers Coalition than sneaking off in the dead of night. None of this really answers the question of what that monster wanted from her, but maybe this is a perfect case of all's well that ends well. Anyway, the bottom line is that no one can stop Arciela now. It's not like she'll be completely on her own, though. Her order will be informed each and every time she passes through Urius yet, and they're bound to employ a bodyguard for her when you're off slicing your way through the jungle. Now, when you escort the princess, you'll not only have her opinion of you on your mind, but the eyes of every member of every Adelinian order on your back. Does that get your blood pumping, or what? In all seriousness, though, I believe in you. The fate of our princess is in your hands, Calmwind. I've never seen a more determined face than yours is right now, Calmwind. Good to know you're ready. Well then, shall we get going for Mount Khmer? Alright. Sure thing. Examine the Alpine Trail and Khmer Drifts at H5 for a cutscene. Bivouac 3, then go north. Okay. Sure thing, actually. Let's yawn in the middle of talking. Why don't we? You've been watching me long enough at this point, if you've been watching me at all, to know that I yawn, and I burp, and I cough on camera. I wish I could control the yawning, though. It seems to help me the more I talk. I actually was going to go to bed, but then I remembered that I had laundry to do, which I'll probably have to go flip in a few minutes. It takes 2 dry cycles to get it done. And, because our dryer is old as shit. But, Taru riding a bomb, how about that? More power to you, little Taru. Okay. Yeah, I've got work tomorrow, and actually I didn't get a lot of sleep last night with playing with Emilib. Emilib actually, she punched Colibris with me for like another 40, 50 minutes or something like that, and we killed I don't know, we got, I think chain 46, which was essentially 46 job points. So now we're up over 100 job points on Red Mage. It was kind of funny. She kind of thought I'd been working on job points myself. She's like, so how much more until you master that job? And I was like, oh, over 2,000. But, such is the endless nature of the grind. Oh. Okay, maybe I should have turned names off. Mount Khmer. I don't think we actually get to walk around in here. I'm pretty sure it's just a zone specifically for cutscene. Looks like he's missing some scales. Winged Scourge. If I could do the fucking dragon voice from 14, I'd totally do it. But I can't, so I don't know what kind of voice to give it. Be gone from here, you frail mortals. Should have thought twice before ascending this peak. I have no patience for those who desecrate the forest. Depart at once. If you do not, then I have no choice but to swing the radiant hammer of vengeance down upon your meager frames. Oh, wait, Your Eminence, before you judge us, I would like you to take a look at this. That blade. Calmwind, can you show him the proof of your bonds to this forest too? Sounds like a plan. I'll show my butt fruit. Bring forth the Rosalaceous poem before the Winged Scourge. The Winged Scourge casts the burning stare in your direction. Orth Arsene and Rosalaceous poem. You mean to tell me that you are not like the rest of those pillagers, but staunch believers in August and his desire to preserve the forest? You refer to the Founder King by his first name? So you knew him personally? But he lived centuries upon centuries ago. You couldn't possibly be an immortal dragon. Come on, Arciela. Of course I knew him, for I am Sajj'aka. Not only did I know the first Ageless king, I swore my allegiance to him. Was it centuries ago? Millennia? Time flows for many things, but upon Sajj'aka it touches not. Seas change, lands change. Even should the stars fade from existence, the covenant made with August shall not break. In my eyes, the lives of your kind are as delicate and transient as bubbles in a stream. Your moments of glory mere sparks from flint. Inconsequential, insignificant, insubstantial. Such is how I came to conceive of your peoples. August has been the only exception. His aura shone brighter than my refulgent scales, and his resolve was strong enough to wrest me from the realm of shadows. That is not the lone justification for why my memory of him will persist until the end of time, but it is an important one. And what of you, spindly-legged foal? Does the respect for the king you claim to harbor within that minuscule bosom of yours amount to even a drop in the sea compared to what I showed him while he was alive? Well, hopefully you can at least answer this simple question. As a preface, you are aware of the 7 guardians that protect the Ulbukan hinterland, are you not? Yes, I am. They're the Nyakwals, right? Is that the ephemeral sobriquet they have been given by your kind? Very well. I shall not waste my breath explaining the rest. However, there was one more guardian who fought alongside August, a worthy tiger whose fur shone a lustrous gold. That must be Turquoise. I recall reading about him during one of my trips to the library. What was the title of the book, though? Aha, His Majesty and the Golden Beast. That's it. Ah, books. An inconvenient form of immortality, but perhaps the best your ephemeral kind can hope for. If you are truly learned, you should have no qualms about a simple test. Pray tell me, where did August meet Turquoise in combat? Where they fought, you say? Well, that would be... Calmwind, what do we do? I don't remember that detail at all. Aha, it's a trick question. The story makes no mention of where they fought. Confidence conceals ignorance. Only when the other party is ignorant as well, you misguided fool. In the end, you care as little for August as I care for dissemblers. The one who saved me from that place where even the faintest hint of light is swallowed whole. Nestlings such as you could never hope to fathom his greatness. I was foolish to believe otherwise. I will not stand for this a moment longer. I know not why you trespassed upon this land, and I no longer care. There is nothing left to discuss, for you have proven beyond a doubt that you are incapable of understanding August's will. Remove yourselves from my presence. Our conversation has left me weary of both speaking with mortals and with life itself. I'm so embarrassed, Calmwind. I don't want to admit it, but maybe he's right after all. It was silly of me to come here knowing so little. If I am to make amends, there's only one thing left to do. Calmwind, let's burrow deep into Adelin's vault of knowledge, leaving no page unturned in our wake. Okay. So now we have to go back to the library and read books. So that's going to be mildly annoying, I suppose. But, it is what it is. I just said a phrase I hate. Looks like Camille Lib is on Play Online, but not in-game. My other friend there, Reveal, he's actually from the Auction House forum, He's pretty much always online and pretty much always AFK. I think he's probably really well geared out. I don't know what he would do if he wanted to play with me. He'd probably be playing just to play. Of course, that's kind of why we're playing too, you know? Like, you know, you have to be honest about what the gameplay in this game is. It's grinding to get more power, to do more better fighting, to fight better. And even once you've killed the hardest enemies in the game to kill, the only reason to continue playing is to improve yourself until something new comes out. You know, it becomes to play. And I remember back in the day, way back in the day at the 75 cap, I'm sure I've mentioned this before, way earlier in the Let's Play, but people who got into endgame back then, they seem to forget why they wanted the gear in the first place. Like, I wanted all the endgame gear back then so I could get into EXP parties and merit parties more quickly. Arciela, Calmwind, what a pleasant surprise. I assume you're here to read more about the Founder King? If so, I have some unwelcome news. You have already read all our tomes that discuss what took place circa the establishment of our nation. Is that so? Do you have any idea what to do now, Calmwind? If there are no books left to read, how are we ever going to answer that dragon's question? Pardon my ignorance, Arciela. I forgot about the existence of a certain section. A certain section? Verily, warily. Allow me to educate Haru you on an oft-overlooked part of our institution. Oshasha, huh? But first, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Oshasha, and I'm the conservator of this library. We have a severe dearth of patrons with an interest in the continent's ancient Taru history, so it took me as an exceptionally long time to recall that we have closed stacks as well. Closed stacks? Precisely. As of now, you've only been reading the books available to the general public. In other words, you've not laid a finger on the pages of any concealed work. Sorry if I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. Andrine here is much more eloquent Haru than me, so I'll let her explain. Of course, ma'am. This is a blatant abuse of your power. Time sure flies when you're having fun. I simply must get back to my research so I can be ready for the next symposium. Good luck, Andrine. Well, concealed works are tomes that may not be removed from the premises. I would be more than happy to wade through the stacks for you, but I cannot take the plunge without some direction. Are there really that many books back there? Indeed there are, though Adolin was founded long ago. It was not long enough ago to predate the written word. The books are practically cascading from the shelves, so voluminous are they. Pioneers also contribute to the archives every day by returning from the jungle with field reports. It would not do for some of the information contained within to be seen by common citizens. Therefore, many of those reports are relegated to the stacks for safekeeping. In summation, it is impossible to provide you with every tome from this ever-growing mass of vellum. I will need a subject via which to select a few relevant texts. Well, Colin, what topic do you suggest we look for? The Founder King's favorite sweets. No. Battle. It sure looks fancy enough. Pardon me one moment. My window unit AC is starting to go insane. Hopefully I can reach the remote. I keep the remote farther away than I should. I trust this. Okay. Oh my Calmwind, look here! The most fearsome adversaries the king and his retinue what? Game? The most fearsome adversaries the king and his retinue faced during the Great Exposition were the Sumerian adherents. With the aid of the Aurelian tiger, King August and his forces plunged deeper and deeper into the wildlands. However, with the fall of night came heated battle with the Cimmerian adherents, an event that was repeated seemingly ad infinitum. No matter how many victories they earned or how many foul creatures they dispatched, the night continued to bring with it an umbral assault. The abominations knew neither fatigue nor fear and plagued the retinue to its breaking point. The fiend's reign of terror did not stop the king's party, though. The creatures were said to loathe all things that drew breath or energy from the sun. They poisoned the land, blighted the trees, and massacred every animal they laid eyes upon. As the days passed, the king learned that these dark minions had also beleaguered the gold pelt in his forest for countless nights. The Epiphany redoubled their determination. No longer were they both fighting for themselves, but for their companions as well. I wish we'd get the gentler music. I get that this is supposed to be like action sequences with these pictures, but I feel like more somber music would be better. Then one evenfall, a bloodbath rained down upon the Obulkan jungle, tainting its lush vegetation a mournful shade of red. The event began with an enemy ambuscade. Ring upon ring of nocturnal horrors encircled the king and his followers. The danger became more palpable with each passing second as the shadowy grunts ilmed ever closer. The resplendent feline expended his remaining stamina to unleash a terrifying attack that felled all the surrounding enemies. This selfless act brought the king and his companions enough time to escape, but also cost the tiger his life. Okay, finally that music is settling down a little bit. Oh, August looks pretty cool. Oh, but the music's picking back up. Oh, she's crying. See, we should have sad, like, somber, like the I don't know who chose the music direction for this cutscene, but it bothers me immensely. How tragic. The tiger died to protect August Adelin. Excited by the display of the Wildcat's bravery, his son, the king, and the monarch's 11 stalwart crusaders pressed on in the face of the nightmarish barrage. The conflict lasted for so long that all involved lost count of the days spent cleaving chunks of flesh from their assailants. At last, however, the forces of the night were pushed back to the sorcerer's ruins from which they first emerged. It was there that the explorers were met with that which controlled the entirety of the Cimmerian adherents. This mastermind behind the invasion of Obulkan and the destruction of its lands was... Who or what exactly reigned over the Cimmerian adherents? This is getting really good. Missing page? Missing page. Ah, no, just my luck. The most important page in the entire record has been ripped out. But wait, haven't there been sightings of being similar to what this text calls dark minions and Cimmerian adherents? What does the word Cimmerian mean? Classical mythology, of relating to or suggesting a northern people believed to dwell in perpetual darkness. Very dark or gloomy. Okay, so basically dark adherents. Okay, dark worshippers. If that's the case, then why are these creatures appearing again out of nowhere? They should be confined to the pages of history books and lines of old wives' tales, not roaming the jungle of present-day Obulka. Persist the Cimmerian adherents crawled up out of their subterranean den at the behest of some being. If only we knew its identity. Well, it sounds like they came out of Rakaznar. Let's go with something silly to try to stop this music. Did you say sweets? The mere mention of that word has my tongue dancing in anticipation of the delicate waltz of saccharine flavors and... No, now is not the time for such frivolities. Let's focus on the task at hand. Okay, the Founder King's retinue then. The Founder King's retinue, is it? Wait but a moment, I will return with an applicable volume. It looks exactly the same as the last one. Don't confuse me. Sorry about that. Alright. Founder King August Adelin was a charismatic personage who incited a number of valiant individuals to join his cause. This feat might have proved difficult for lesser men, but for King August it was child's play. His character was unimpeachable, and his gallantry non-parallel. Even those whom he defeated in combat would utter his praises before exhaling their final breath. Employing this uncanny charisma, he was able to subjugate the ferocious beasts that prowl the Adelan Isles, unify the warlords of the various outlying islets, and establish himself as their leader. These former warlords numbered 11 strong, and they formed what would eventually be known as the 11 of the 12 Orders, accepting only the King's house. Looks like he's got a Dragoon, and a Black Mage, and a Knight, and a Scholar, and a Blue Mage, and a Geomancer, and a something else. With the support of his 11 vassals, he turned his focus inward to the Vulcan mainland and trod upon its primordial plains in hopes of taming them. Pressing ever further into the maze of vegetation, they stumbled upon a swath of woodland now known as the Yorkshire Weald, wherein they encountered a tiger that loomed larger than the most expansive manse of the day, and whose pelt was a radiant gold that would catch the sun's rays just right to melt the eyes of any who dared gaze upon it for more than a few moments. This massive beast claimed to be the ruler of all who inhabited the jungle, and challenged the founder king with an ear-splitting roar. "My name is Chukwualan, and you may only proceed once I lay lifeless upon the forest floor." With that guttural proclamation, the creatures surrounding the king withdrew, leaving what they assumed would be the best pickings to their pack leader. As a rejoinder, August vowed to skin the feline alive if he laid a claw on any one of the king's followers, and the two began staring each other down in a silence that finally broke half a day hence. The battle raged on for 7 suns, with it ending by moonlight of the 7th night. They fought for a week straight. Neither wildcat nor warrior could deny the other's raw power, so they stopped the duel in favor of a long-lasting friendship. As a symbol of their new alliance, the tiger entrusted his son to the care of one of the king's 11 bannermen. Oh, look at that. It's like a beefcake barbarian. He's feeding a little tiger there. Oh. This is the first known inhabitant the king befriended, but it is also far from the last. August continued to push deeper into the continent's verdant abyss, where he would confront still more natives seeking to drive him from their sacred territory. This is certainly a lot more descriptive than the last thing I read here. It indulges a bit too much hyperbole for my taste, but it does convey the point that their battle was hard fought. Even better, it also tells us the answer to Sajj'aka's question. It said that the king and his feline opponent fought in Yorkshire Weald, right? That gets me to thinking. Could the gold tiger that saved me possibly be related to the one in this document? You already knew Calmwind? What? He told you himself? I guess you did say something earlier about you being able to communicate with him. He possesses some arcane power by which he can speak directly to you without having to open his mouth, right? That does seem rather strange, but I believe it since you've already shown us something similar with the Leafkin Matriarch. What really piques my interest, though, is how you earned his trust enough for him to tell you anything. The Founder King's death, huh? I regret to inform you that, while such a text does exist in our records, I simply cannot find it anywhere in the closed stacks. What? How can that be, if people aren't able to check them out? Well, according to the log, we gave one of the ministers special permission to borrow it. One of the ministers? Yes, it says here that we lent it to Melvian de Melacroix. Melvian? I am extremely sorry for both the interruption and my tardiness, Andrine. We have taken much too long to return this tome you so kindly lent us from the closed stacks. Why, Lady Arciela, with Calmwind in tow. I did not expect to see you two here. What, may I ask, is it that you have come to research? Oh, perhaps we should continue this discussion after I finish what I came here to do. You see, Lord de Meloquois' butler informed me that a rather peculiar tome emblazoned with the Selenia library seal had been lying on his desk for an extended period of time. However, the minister himself is indisposed at the moment. As luck would have it, I had business to conduct in the vicinity, so I am here in his stead. Thank you so much for your diligence, Estinio, and I am sorry you had to. Ah, this is it. Arciela, Calmwind, this is the book I was talking about. It's the only one in our archive that deals with the death of the founder king. I got the impression that Lord de Malacroix was particularly concerned with the contents of that text. I would often see his nose buried within its pages. I surmised that was the reason it had yet to be returned. Well, if he is so enthralled with it that he could hardly put it down. Let's not waste any time, Calmwind. Get past the table of contents and on to the real text. Now we get darker music, huh? Not a soul bore witness to the king's demise. The king and his followers stepped into those mysterious ruins wherein the Serpentine Labyrinth, dubbed such due to the fact it contained as many branching passageways as leaves in the jungle, sprawled before them. The Serpentine Labyrinth? Does that sound anything like you've heard of before, Calmwind? Yeah, it sounds like Rakaznar. Is that the ancient structure embedded within the crags of Khmer Drifts? Now that you mention it, I do recall a story from my youth about a certain old building buried deep underground. Rakaznar and this Serpentine Labyrinth could very well be one and the same. I always assumed such tales were only told to scare children or stimulate their imaginations, but maybe there is some truth to this one after all. Either way, let's continue reading before we jump to any conclusions. The hordes of uncanny terrors that crawled above ground to corrupt the land all did so from that very labyrinth. By this time, the king's ranks had been thinned by the droves of aberrations that had already fallen to the hero's blades. However, that did not the least to shorten his strides into this den of iniquity. Each footfall they took resounded with a booming determination to prevent this colliginous menace from ever resurfacing. And yet, with the exception of one subordinate, the steps of every person who made the descent with King August were silenced within that abyssal mausoleum. The lone person to survive was Moramar, the king's general and tamer of beasts. He emerged from the chaos of the Golden Tiger's next of kin, and no one else. The Founder King nowhere to be seen, and most of Moramar's account lost to the slow tick of time. All we can do is conjecture about the king's fate. That conjecture, sadly, can only be based upon the few curt words his general spoke of the terrible incident. From then, we can conclude that King August expended his life inside the bowels of the Serpentine Labyrinth, clashing with... For the goddess's sake, the rest of this tome is completely illegible. The battle was a spectacle of atrocious beauty, with hacked limbs and ruptured veins decorating each and every winding corridor of the subterranean maze. Explorer after explorer in the king's retinue was struck down, but not before they could drag regiments of oppressors to the grave with them. King August used himself as a shield to allow more and more time with which to return to soil side. With little to no room for error and even less for respite, the monarch's chances of climbing back up those treacherous depths were lamentably slim. Moramar hurried back to Castle Adelin, the king's cherished blade swinging from his side and a message from the sovereign up on his lips. No more shall we colonize the hinterland. With that, he passed the sword on to the Callow prince and princess and promptly departed. Utharcine. His orders fulfilled, Mormar vanished from sight, never to be seen again. Even after his disappearance, tales of his and his feline companions' efforts to preserve the forest waft above the heads of citizens throughout Adelin's bifurcated districts to this day. So, King August never did make it back above ground. And his grave in Rala Waterways is nothing but a memorial. There's a sepulchre that was erected in the Rala Waterways for the founder king. I always assumed that his body was entombed there, but that doesn't seem to be the case. That was the first I have heard of this as well. Perhaps Chancellor Ignis could provide some insight into this quandary? Maybe. Although I suppose your father also disappeared under peculiar circumstances. He may not have told Ignis anything. Oh, how thoughtless of me. I should not have touched upon such an obviously sensitive issue. I guess it would be boorish of me. It's alright, I don't mind. It never occurred to me that building a grave beneath the city, amongst a series of canals, was odd, but thinking it over, why not erect a monument in one of the plazas where everyone can see it? Anyway, we've done our job researching. Sumerian adherence to the Serpentine Labyrinth, the truth about the Founder King's grave. I feel like I have more questions now than when we first came in. This should be more than enough to appease that surly serpent. Let's make our way back to Mount Khmer and find out once and for all what's ravaging the jungle. Oh, we're getting tells from Emilib. Alright. So what do we gotta do now? We gotta go back to the Alpine... Alpine Trail. I suppose we could turn off names now. Proceed. Petulant children, do not ask you to be gone from my sight. We swear that we have no intention of harming the jungle. Please hear our plea. It is my sworn duty as a protector of this land to confirm your intent matches your words. It matters little which of you engages in this test I am to put forth, but anger me further and your life is forfeit. Make light of this trial, and I should grind your skulls between my teeth and suck the marrow from your bones. You shall not? Well, how unexpected. The boy is putting on airs. Yet pride always comes before a fall. Let us hope that the fire in your eyes has not become quenched by the avalanche of failure. And an avalanche it shall be, should you make even one misstep, let the first trial begin. The king of legends was saved by a tiger whose mane looked to be woven from golden threads. Where was the sight of their struggle? Portia will. The truth is never a low-hanging fruit, free for all to pluck. It comes only to those willing to snatch it from the heavens. Though I did not bear witness to this truth, Turquoise and August incessantly regaled me with every last detail, and I could recite the story by heart. Beyond doubt, the two struggled valiantly, with August staring straight to the abyss and dragging forth victory from its gaping maw. Turquoise thus chose to serve that fabled one, learning to love him much as I did. Now for the second test. Turquoine's cub was entrusted to one of August's most trusted generals. I assume you came across this fact in your studies. Who was this man? Morrison, no. Everything that ends in sun makes me think of Breath of the Wild now in Terrytown. Moramar. Yes, that is correct. A truly powerful individual indeed, though his star did not shine as brightly as his lord's. August's 11 generals were the only men and women to ever move my heart. That remains true to this day. Let us move to the final question. When all seemed lost and the king made his last stand, where was it that he fought tooth and claw? Abyssia. Promethean. No, the Serpentine Labyrinth. That is correct, young one. You have prepared well for this encounter. I recognize you as heritors to August's will, and will grant you one brief audience. Phew. Calmwind, I'm always glad to have you by my side. I don't know what I would have done. Well, you read the books too. There are limits to which man has recorded in his annals, but as I said before, truth is a fruit found only by the intellectually ravenous. Then you know the details hidden from our eyes and ears? Beyond doubt. Sajj'aka. You mentioned that it was August, the founder king, who released you. Your memory is sharp as a fresh blade, young one. And what about you, son of man? Do you recall this tale? Familiar? Yeah, sure, I guess. I had taken you both for fools, but now that I see you are worthy. Yes, that tale is yet another in this series of truths. I am not of Volbucan origin. The time is not right for me to explain the story in its entirety, but suffice to say, I was long chained down in a terrible domain, and it was the king who released me from my prison. Never again will I return there, nor will they. Who are they? You mentioned earlier the beings you know as the Nyaquals. So, you have vanquished them. Perhaps it is as he said, I should not look down on the sons of man. As who said? Sajj'aka. As pioneers whose charge is to open up the jungle, clashes with the Nyaquals are inevitable. We knew it from the very beginning. Pioneering. Unsurprising, given that they are the guardians of Volbuca. We are quite alike, the Nyaquals and I. We are all residents of a land we cannot call our own, rescued from fate by the one you call the Founder King. They obeyed his will much like I did, and when he ordered them to guard 6 locations around Volbuca, they are bound to obey. That is how they came to protect this land. The ancient pact declared that they were to remain distant from the affairs of mortals and shelter the jungle from harm. Their calling is to shelter the jungle. Yet countless years have passed since the king made his request manifest, perhaps too many years. Some who witnessed those times firsthand have had their memories fade as the centuries passed, and have long forgotten the very reason for their sworn task. And not just the why, but also the what. You may call them the protectors of the land, young one, but you are sorely mistaken. It is not the jungle they pledged to protect. I don't understand. They were scattered throughout the 6 reaches of Volbuca, to be sure, but not for the reason you think. They were sent to guard the 6 entrances to what you refer to as the Serpentine Labyrinth. Then the Serpentine Labyrinth is more than just a myth? When August made his last stand, he bid Moramar and I to return to the surface without him. Our purpose, given by the king himself, was not to guard his side, but was to deliver his orders unto the Neaquals. They were to seal the entrances to the labyrinth and ensure that nary so much as a man's breath penetrate into its recesses. Sajj'aka, let me interject. You said that the Neaquals are to guard the 6 entrances to the Serpentine Labyrinth. Correct. Our annals state that there are 7 Neaquals, but you only mentioned 6 entrances. Then where's the 7th one? What is he protecting? He was different from the rest. In ancient times, he was referred to as the Deathborn Zol, and his purpose was to serve the hallowed leader of the Sumerian adherents. You mean August's sworn enemies? Indeed, he is one of the Zol triumvirate. But during his fierce clashes with August, he came to see the light. I know not where he is or what his task is. Perhaps. No, speculation is not my forte. He is impossible for me to read. Sajj'aka, I have more to ask you. August's sword, Arciela, led me here to this very spot. Before I began private tutelage, my father often read to us a poem, and one verse sticks out to me to this day. When disaster is nigh and evil has descended, brandish the sword to the heavens, and all shall be mended. The light that pierced the sky signaled the top of this peak. I know the Founder King left something or someone very important with you. But Arciela was not our only beacon. The twinned world tree, whose power wanes even as we speak, gave a Rosalacia's poem to Calmwind, as it gave something to you. The winds of change are sweeping Ulbuka, threatening to blow away all she embraces. This change bodes ill for all of us. Horrific beasts of unforeseen origin are appearing in greater numbers by the day. Land shivers threaten to knock over even the stoutest building in Adelin. Trees wither and die, and the water runs foul. Did my controller just disconnect again? I hate when it does this. Come on now. Come on now. Tell me, Sajj'aka, why? Why is this happening? Isn't there anything we can do to stop it? Please, if you know anything, share it with us. The seals on the Serpentine Labyrinth wear thin. The spirits of the past are beginning to reawaken. The spirits of the past? Do you mean those who commanded the Sumerian adherents? None other. Despite his monumental strength, even August was not able to vanquish them. Merely sealing them within the labyrinth's confines took all of his strength, and yet he succeeded in stopping him. The Lord of the Serpentine Labyrinth, Hades. So this entity has a name? Darkness threatens to choke this land once more. He returns. The smell of the wind, the undulations of the land. It is now as it was then. Like a harsh wind chipping away at a boulder. His return is sluggish, but inevitable. And what then, when he returns to Ulbuka? You too, child, must sense it. Forces antithetical to all life strengthen with each passing day. As they wax, the power of the world tree wanes. Having lost its twin, it coalesced all its energies into its roots and took hold deep within the Ulbukan soil. It then spread throughout the land, culling all the evil that sought to consume it. Countless years have passed since then, and as the world tree aged, it began to lose its potency. The land shivers are but a physical manifestation of this phenomenon. Each shudder is the world tree trembling in agony. And what if this power is completely lost? Then all that August worked to contain will spill out onto the surface. Hades' wait is almost over, his black heart growing stronger as we speak. Calamity will befall us once again. The air a stifling miasma, the water a fetid pool, the land a shattered palisade, and the jungle a lifeless husk. Black flames will scourge the forest, rending all life from stem to stern, spelling a brutal end for us all. This is the inevitable conclusion of all we have faced so far? How? How can we stop it? We cannot. It can't be. Sajj'aka, you stared into the serpentine labyrinth and lived. You must know something. Young child and her young friend, I am but a relic of the past. Would that August were alive, things may be different. If not his body, then at least his spirit. But it is still chained within the serpentine labyrinth's most inner recesses. During August's crusade, he was ruthlessly devoted to his cause, and the World Tree was the height of its power. And I had just been freed, my blood boiling for revenge. These three forces combined to seal that dark malady deep within. Yet despite the most favorable of circumstances, we failed to eliminate the threat completely. This time we have no light of hope to guide us. Though I remain in this realm, I still bear the wounds I suffered during that struggle. Oh, sure enough, he was missing some scales. As I alluded to before, even if I were healthy, the Founder King's spirit is trapped, and the World Tree has begun to crumble. Yet despite all this, mankind insists on working its utmost to destroy the wilds. And here I sit, bearing the same injury, and even you and I, your lot, I would forgive, but my heart still pulses with rage at the mere thought of the evil sealed away. Pet and comfort him, unleash a feral scream. Calmwind, whatever's gotten into you? Stop that this instant. Forgive my sudden outburst. Whatever the case, our three lights of hope have been extinguished. But surely there must be something. Maybe if there were some way to save the World Tree? The world is made up of one simple truth. If something can grow old, it can die. Or perhaps there is a way to reverse the process. First, a brief lesson. The World Tree's origins lie not in Ulbuka. To hear August tell it, he had retrieved a young branch of the World Tree from a far-off land and planted it here in this continent. It sprang forth from the soil and began to bud before one turn of the moon, its limbs stretching so high they must have touched Altana herself. If we were to do the same thing, and this time, the roots are already here to work with. So if we were to find a similar branch, then the World Tree would burst into existence much as it did then, only faster. But the question remains, where did he possibly find such an object? A light's land. The World Tree grew in a sanctified place filled with light and surrounded by serene waters. In a place that was once called Razoa. There was once a light's land on that frozen continent. Nevertheless, its presence is but a memory etched onto a tattered canvas. Razoa, we only know it as a land wrapped in the flames of war. But I can feel it, a spark of brilliance located within a stifling place. When the World Tree sensed changes occurring here, it gifted a piece of itself, creating a new light's land here. I can feel it, soft vibrations in the land calling me there. If it's as simple as going there, then no, even though you have seen the reality, there is nothing you can do. I and I alone have the power to access the light's land. The trauma I have suffered is too great, my constitution is too frail. Those blasphemous entities stripped me of my scales, cursed them, and scattered them throughout the land. This is why my wounds will never heal. I cannot fly as long as my scales are held captive. Not now, not ever. Even the slightest flap of my wings sends jolts of pain down my spine. Circling the mountaintop is all I can bear before I am forced to make landfall. Arriving at the light's land? Beyond question. Sajj'aka. I have searched many of your lifetimes for even one, but to no avail. I have no other avenues to try, and cannot disperse the evil. Or could his scales possibly... Okay, so now... I guess technically we have to go look for his scales. But all the guide says is to zone into woe gates, so... I guess we'll go and try to zone into woe gates. Which... is on the other side of the zone we're currently in, so we just need to hit up a bivouac and go to the frontier station. And man, this is a lot of exposition, eh? We've been at it for almost an hour, and we're still at it. I was kind of hoping I could reach the next, you know, like, game day wait, or whatever. That way, you know, like, we kind of bookend where the Let's Play is at with each passing episode. But we are getting nearer and nearer to the end of Seeker's of Adelin. Like, we're not... I think we got one more chapter to go. I think it's a 5-chapter story, and we're in chapter 4. But the actual length of the chapters is different and varies depending on how many and how lengthy the cutscenes are, as well as I should have just used my warp ring and home point warped back into Adelin, and then yeah. No, I have not joined a lair reeve. Yeah, the story is about to heat up. Like, you know, we're getting all this build up. Like, apparently the Dark Adherents or whatever, they're from Rakaznar, and they're led by Hades, and they're coming back. Hades is coming back, and oh god damn it. Okay, if I can't get to this bivouac around this next turn, then I'm gonna just hop off my mount and use a warp ring, because we do not have time for this. Oh. Swing. Calmwind, somehow it doesn't surprise me to find you here. Sealed ruins in the Woe Gates must lead to the Serpentine Labyrinth. I can feel it. But how can we get inside? What's that? I remember you? It has been a while, Calmwind. Come, if we do not make haste, the gate will open. He's calling to us, Calmwind. We've got to hurry. Quickly, before we lose him. Okay, so we got a cutscene by going to the Woe Gates. And... what exactly do we gotta do now? Examine the spot, darkened crevice, and Woe Gates at G7/J8 border for the cutscene. It's just down before the downward slope. Fall down at I-5, then fall down again at H6, and once you reach the big room. Oh, okay. So I guess we... Oh, it's kind of like Sea Serpent Grotto, I guess. Yeah, it's exactly like Sea Serpent Grotto. Darkened crevice. Just like Final Fantasy XI to put something like this in. Oh boy, Leafkin's fighting Umbrils. Quite the confused melee we've stumbled into. Umbrils fighting Leafkin? What on bad deal's going on? It's the World Tree fighting the darkness. Or getting eaten by the darkness, I guess. Oh hey! He looks like Moramar, doesn't he? Arculin, what took you so long? Like you would ever lose before I got here. See? Where's the respect you're supposed to show your master? Never forget who's the older one here. Complaints can come after. We have work to do. You got that right. Oh, but still more come. Numberless horde indeed. I hack and hack, but they keep coming. You there, the Rugrat. We gotta get out of here. Follow me. Alright, so we get a key item, tufted golden hair. And, okay, I don't remember this being that hard, but I guess we'll see what happens. Oh look, we're back in Certus Caverns again, because why not? Let's grab Layla and Gabo, because why not? Okay, so we got Arciela, Terkulin, a bunch of Leafkins. And they're all NPCs. And this guide says if any of the NPCs die, that we lose. So that's not cool, but... I think we'll be okay. We've got item level out the ass. We've also got cures that we can give to them. And they take a hell of a lot of damage from min spells. Do not let your guard down. The fight is far from over. Target the damn thing. Ugh. We won, right? My trust like started disappearing. I hope we won. I don't. Somebody didn't die, did they? Got them all cleaned up. Have to admit, you got more spunk than I had thought possible. Yo, Darkulin, those eyes of yours sharper than I give them credit for. When have I ever lied to you? Oh, I'll be. Arciela, you've grown, that's for sure. Grown? And you must be Calmwind. And you might be... me? Just old Moramar. Always have been, always will be. But Moramar? But that's the name of the founder of King's General. General, that's a little title I haven't heard in a while. It's been ages since someone's called me that, and I'd have thought to never hear it again. But yes, I'm that Moramar. Glad to see that Ortharcene's been kept safe all these years. You know about the sword, but I mean, just look at you. It's been much in a few moons since I've seen it, and I've been getting on in years. But you didn't come here to listen to me ramble. You're in search of the scales, right? How could you possibly... It takes a wolf to know the heart of a beast. Now that I think you're a beast. You were more like a cub. That's rich coming from you. Sometimes I wonder why I don't just throw you into the Zoldeff River. Been at this for a long time. I've never had a smart aleck of a companion as this lump of fur. Fate binds us together, Moramar. You know that. And surely we have better things to do than sit here casting aspersions at one another. Got that right. Back to the matter at hand. I've got an idea of where you can find the scales you're looking for. Of course, nothing's sure in the muddied waters of Labuka, but even the smallest possibility is better than nothing. But if you want to find them, you'll have to convince them. Convince whom? Ah, the spirit of youth. Good to see you so eager to keep on top of things. This whole colonization thing is best left to the young. Old fuddy-duddies like me have no place in. Oh, better stop myself before I get further off track. I'm talking about Sajj'aka, of course. If you want to find the scales, you're going to need to convince them, and I'll come along to help. We're running out of time. We need to hurry. I made a promise to August, and I don't intend to break it. Dun 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 dun. Okay. Return to Camera Drifts and examine the Alpine Trail. Of course, of course. Why would that be what we gotta do, you know? Why wouldn't that be what we gotta do? That paralyzed better not paralyze my warp ring. Also, I feel like whenever debuffs start wearing off and start blinking like they're about to wear off, I feel like they start blinking way before buffs do. And like they stay blinking for eons, even once their timer disappears. But that paralysis was around way longer than it should have fucking been. But, ah well. So, to the Alpine Trail, huh? FFXI. Proceed! Darkulin and Moramar too, and also you two. Even a caged Oppo knows that it cannot reach the Pamama tree. This was your doing, I assume. 'Twas. I know not what you planned, but I could have my answer engraved on a stone tablet, and you would just claim to be illiterate. That's the epitome of that meme with DW from Arthur, you know. That sign won't stop me because I can't read. Come on, Sajj'aka, you're not the only one to forget the oath. You're not one to forget the oath you swore to August to protect the wildlands. Or do you mean to say that you wanted to help when it was convenient for you, and the rest of us be damned? Please, mighty dragon, we need your aid. No, be gone. But this is the will of the king himself. What you would ask of me cannot be done. August told us to impart one lesson to the people. Never again were they to set foot in the wilds. What would you know of the truth? Mar and I were there, while your far ancestors were doubtless still bickering over some petty land dispute. In any event, the king had but one wish, that none ever entered the continent. The children of man are foolhardy. Their lives last but an instant, and thus their capacity for wisdom is lacking. They knew his dying words, yet from then until this very day, they never abandoned their desire to terrorize the jungle. The fools are not aware that the world tree's roots are buried deep within the serpentine labyrinth, shutting in the forces of darkness from the outside world. No, not only are they ignorant, they continue to harm the tree with each breath they take. Numberless are the years I spent watching humanity's pernicious deeds from atop this frigid peak. I am confident that the king would not have wavered in these dark times. Man is to leave this place. You sing a tune of gloom and doom, Sajj'aka, but these are desperate times. Who else do you expect to save the world tree? This isn't a question of men, nor how long a life you lead. Doesn't matter one bit. If the Prince of the Deeps comes back, both man and beast, both immortal and the ageless, will be swallowed up whole. You know why? Because he detests all life. You're aware of it as much as I am. His scythe will reap all that draws breath. You speak truth. A storm threatens to tear us all apart. The world tree's power has begun to fade, and my wings will not carry me for more than a few brief moments. The Nyaquils have been embroiled in conflict from dawn to dusk since the moment Moramar emerged from that cursed labyrinth, and even they have begun to forget why. That's exactly what I'm getting at. Sajj'aka, not for even a second have I forgotten that August gave me Orthorcine and said never again has man to set foot into the wilds. But think, why after all these centuries would the blade burn bright and point to these two kids here? I've been trying to say it the whole time, don't you agree, Calmwind? Yeah, the scriptwriter's meaning, baby. I, too, see a reason behind all this. Long ago, when Augustine words had begun to fade into legend, Adelinians set out to recolonize the land. You're talking about the Great Expedition. Is that how it came to be known? Trust me, there was nothing great about it. August made a 5-degree turn in his grave, and they all ran howling back to the city with their tails between their legs. And that's what did they do when they got back? Made some excuse about needing to respect the dead, and erected that huge seal. A huge seal? What matters is that they made it. Don't worry yourself with the particulars. When faced with something they do not know, man has a deep-rooted need to seal it away and never think about it again. They cover it, put it away, and pretend that it never existed. August was right. Some people are stronger than others. That's why his first warning came in a dream. He figured that'd be enough. But your Ignis is as thick-skulled as a Velk. So when that didn't work, August took a bit of the World Tree's power and turned him into a leafkin. The Lin shivers, are those caused by the Founder King too? Would that there were. No matter how strong a man is, he can't make the earth tremble. No, it's because the World Tree is losing her strength. It's no surprise you'd misunderstand. The warnings are graver now than you'd read in any of your books. First the king gets proofed into a seedling and now land shivers. Surely people would think to stop colonization. And in most times that would have been the case. But no, not with Ignis. Not once has he thought to give in. Not only does he remain resolute, but he even took that curse to be a blessing, thinking it'd help him understand the World Tree. Help him understand? I don't follow. Wait, is that why he said that the curse must never be lifted? I'm pretty sure. Some people are stronger than others, but perhaps Ignis is stronger still. And not just him, Arciela, Calmwind, and all your compatriots who persist in colonizing the land. No, I'm sure that's the case. I'm not sure that's the case. Calmwind, do you remember the first time we met? It was outside the forest when a young girl no older than 8 went outside the city walls to find some herbs to help her grandfather. Yeah, Tiana, that little lispy kid. I think that we are all weak. We put on airs to protect those we love. For Tiana, it was her grandfather. For my brother, it was the people of Adelin. And for this princess, it is not just the people, but all things that live on the continent. Would you not say so, Calmwind? Calmwind, why are you nodding? Protect something they love, huh? Can't say I understand it, but that may be my age showing. Like a chocobo being put out to pasture. Shut your trap. If I wanted your opinion, I'd be giving it to you. Yep, that's a good boy. You know what I think, Sajj'aka? August must be pretty conflicted. That's why he used the sword to call them here. Conflicted? Yep, that's my opinion. Times have changed. New forces are coming to bear. There's so many like Arciela and like Calmwind working for the benefit of Adelin. Is that so? I've got an idea of where to find your scales. How could you possibly know that? You think all I've been doing these long years is slinging my axe around? I may not be as spry as I once was, but I can sneak around like the best of them. You got something to say? Come on now, out with it. No, we simply have different perspectives. That's right, different. Now, where was I? Oh, right. You know, there's a reason we haven't found those scales yet. And it's not because we're overlooking something. It's because we aren't searching in the right place. And where would you suggest? Sometimes you can be pretty dense, Sajj'aka. Didn't you just get done saying people aren't nearly as clever as you? Ha! Nothing beats playing around with a fuddy-duddy like yourself. But back to the matter at hand. Where are you thinking, Morimar? Deep within the recesses of the Nyakul's charges. That's right. The Serpentine Labyrinth. Why would... think that place has been sealed off thanks to the pact they made with August. Some areas haven't been opened up in generations upon generations. The pioneers have tried to make inroads there, but have met with little success. So if we could find a way in, there's a chance we can find it. But it won't be enough to just ask the Nyakuls to let you in. You would need more than their permission? Take a long look at your aged matriarch Nyakul crest. They'll need your okay too, Sajj'aka, so says the ritual. At last, I see why you brought them before me. Finally, as I said, August is wandering and confused. All of us know that stopping colonization won't stem the tide of what's to come. The World Tree can't hold out much longer. So I got to thinking, you gotta lead them deep inside the labyrinth, even if it means letting colonization go on. You can't let them hurt the forest without purpose, right? And you don't care what happens. And you care what happens to this land. You know why he's kept silent all this time. It was to let them meet with the Nyakuls from the Leafkin. And with you too, Sajj'aka. Even since that Ignis turned into one of those little green buggers, August hasn't made a single peep, like he did during the Great Expedition. No, colonization has proceeded quite smoothly, and the pioneers have reached the reaches of the Serpentine Labyrinth. Isn't that all the proof you need? There have been no sacrifices and no saviors. Everything's just on the edge of boiling over. Do you disagree? I'm more than willing to listen. Moramar, my old friend and battle brother, and you who bears proof of your deeds. Calmwind, if you and your ilk are indeed this new force Moramar thinks you are, then I shall bestow upon you my protection, that you may light the way ahead. With Sajj'aka's blessing, you should be able to enter the areas of the Serpentine Labyrinth that were once forbidden. You know your task, the search for the dragon scales. Get a move on before it's too late. I'll come with you, Calmwind. Unfortunately, dear Princess, I can't allow you to. Not that I don't appreciate your valor, far from it, but your talents are better used elsewhere. Darkulin can only protect you so much, and there are other things you need to be doing. Like what? Look within yourself, and searching for dragon scales the best way you can help. What about Adelin? Don't they need a shining beacon given the state Ignis is in? You're right, I'm needed in the city. Calmwind, I know you can do this without me. There are things in Adelin that only I can handle. Among them, gathering information, and I'm sure you'll do the same, though in a different way. And did my controller die again, or are they just making it so we can't advance the dialogue until her... Okay, it's the controller again. What the fuck is wrong with this thing? I know searching for their skills will be dangerous and it may mean your life, but there's no one I would trust more. After all, we each have our role to play. And Darkulin, I know that you talk to Calmwind telepathically. Could you do the same with me? So you knew all along. I will tell you this, there are some things better left unknown. I'm not one to shy away from candles in times of darkness. The blood of Adelin courses through me, and I am prepared to fight. I see. Oh, haha, the girl's got a leg up on you, Shaggy. Then I shall do what I can. Anything I tell Calmwind, I shall tell you as well. I trust you do not mind, Calmwind? I'm so glad to hear you agree. Calmwind, the Serpentine Labyrinth is a tough nut to crack. You should head back to Arciela from time to time. I'm sure she'll dig up something that'll help you. Suppose there's not much left for me to say. Keep your nose to the grindstone, but not so much that you lose sight of what's important. Alright, so we've got Sajj'aka's Projective Ward. I don't really know what that does, but I assume it's going to let us get the key items for the next mission. But of course, we're already at like an hour and a half, so we should probably not worry too much about that. Is it permanent? It is. Sajj'aka infused a small Athami with a minuscule portion of the latent energies protecting the wilds. I'm going to have to look that word up. A witch's ceremonial knife, usually with a black handle, used in rituals rather than for cutting or carving. So he gave us a knife with his protective ward? That's weird. Anyway, the next mission is all in Rakaznar, and basically we gotta go to Rakaznar, run all over Rakaznar, and get the scales with the dragon. And if we get, after we get the first scale, we can get optional cutscenes, both in Cadmere Drifts and back in Adelin, so I guess we'll be doing that next time. For now, I guess I'll call it to a close. So thanks for watching, stay safe and have a great day, and I'll see you again.